is with a heavy heart and the utmost sadness that I officially announced my retirement.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications. And once you're done, leave a comment down below and I just might end up responding. With about 277,000 active members on WWE's roster, it's pretty hard to fill in space for everyone. Well, actually, with how much content the company produces, it'd be pretty easy for at least most of the people to get some use. But guess what? Shit doesn't always happen. Or worse, you do get used, but just enough to be seen by the masses, seen look like a fucking idiot who looks dumb on a weekly basis or never picks up wins or just somehow isn't being used properly. One of those applies to pretty much everyone here. On D-Wicket, these are 10 wrestlers who are almost definitely eyeing their way out of this godforsaken company, but also prepare for speculation. Number 10, Sasha Banks. So remember 3 seconds ago when I warned you about speculation? Now I'll be the first to admit when I'm contradicting myself, and when I did a list on wrestlers who have already secretly retired, she made the list. Now I made the following very clear in that video, and I'm going to make it very clear here as well. Everything we know regarding Sasha's situation is up in the air like a Ricochet match. I'm not backstage. I don't actually know what's happening. I barely even know what's happening in fucking front of me, dude. As possible as it is that her and Vince worked things out, it's just as possible that once her contract's up, she's on her way out the door. Whatever the situation is, I feel she definitely belongs on this list, because even if she does work things out with Vince, that's gotta be temporary. Right? Like Sasha, you gotta know your worth, and you gotta realize that even if she could make amends with WWE, she's just gonna keep getting used how she was, and it's like guaranteed that you're gonna be used better elsewhere. It's Sasha Banks. She could be the headline of any women's division of the world, and she won't be here. Why stay?
Look at that. If that's not a message sent, I don't know what is.
Number 9, Cesaro. Okay, remember how I just said Sasha should know her worth and realize that even if things are good, they could be indefinitely, infinitely, permanently better elsewhere? Enter Cesaro. And yes, immediately I'll say this one's a little bit shaky too. Cesaro may have never come across that much of a personality on screen, but clearly does behind the scenes, as he's found himself as one of those up, down regulars. He's commonly seen being friendly with Xavier and Seth Rollins and the like. He's clearly got his friend group, and hey, he's even back as a singles guy, but hopefully he knows exactly how WWE is going to end up using him, and that's poorly. Seriously, this is an Apollo Crews where you might not even realize how good he is based on how WWE uses him. I will put it on the record right here, right now. Cesaro may be the single most talented wrestler on the roster today. And considering his batshit crazy strength, there is no reason this dude couldn't set the damn world on fire anywhere else. If this list were just based on potential, he would be number 0, because that's how fucking good he is.
Uh-oh, swinging. The Texas swing. These two will never disappoint.
Number 8, Robert Roode. They really took away everything from this poor bastard, didn't they? They made him a great heel in NXT with a glorious set of robes and stop recording late. They made him a great heel in NXT with a glorious set of robes and a very fitting theme song to boot. On the main roster, they made him a babyface, which doesn't work for his character in any way. They took away all of the swagger and charisma that made him great and instead paired him up with a Gable after he didn't work on his own. And that's fine, okay? I liked Roode and Gable, but then they took away the Gable and gave him a mustache. What kind of a fucking trade is that? I haven't even heard the damn theme song that made his NXT run so impactful in like a year now. Why are you in the company? Rob may be getting up there in age, but fuck me if his gimmick isn't the biggest potential heel money draw since MJF.
First of all, you can now formally address me as the glorious Robert Roode. And how do I feel? I've never felt better in my entire career.
Number 7, Cedric Alexander. Oh, now we're really getting into those meat and potatoes. If Cesaro and Roode can look past their booking being better potentially everywhere else, they're both dudes getting up there in age who clearly seem friendly in the locker room. I would say they're fine collecting those paychecks if they want, but Cedric, well folks, we got our first Twitter user here, as Cedric's gotten a little bit cheeky lately on the little blue birdie. He had a few EC3-esque tweets to remind us that yes, he can can still wrestle and that he misses his home back on 205 Live. I mean, WWE didn't care about 205 Live, but the roster was always so into it and he was great there. Now he's on Monday Night Raw, which WWE does care about, but only through their horrible tunnel vision of what care about means, which has left Cedric on the sidelines. Assuming Raw stars make a little teensy, probably a shit ton more money than the cruiserweights on 205 Live, it's very telling to me that Cedric is openly talking about preferring wrestling to money. Does that remind you of any former lunatic fringes, maybe?
Look at Alexander now.
Alexander with a little speed of his own. Bingo!
Cover!
Number 6, Rey Mysterio. While Rey made it clear that he always wanted to return to what he considered home, he might be looking at it a little bit differently nowadays. I mean, that Andrade feud, that was excellent, and him having a little US title reign with the whole Samoa Joe feud, that was pretty surprising to me. But outside of the fact that he's a legend, what's going to keep him high up there on either show once he returns from injury? He's going to have a little bit of momentum, but are WWE really having their hearts set on a 2019 Rey Mysterio run? To me, that Takerberg match, which I hopefully remember to refer to it exclusively as from this point forward, should have connected just as many dots in the mask of Mysterio as it did on the strange haircut of Cena. Rey's another one of those veterans who's starting to get up there in age, and despite just outright proving time to be a false concept last year, eventually he is going to have to slow down in the ring. Mysterio popped up at All In before AEW was even a thing back in September 2018. Maybe he really enjoyed himself there. It sure as fuck looked like it, and maybe he'd like a chance to do that kind of thing one more time before hanging the mask up. One can only hope.
I'm here to relinquish my United States Championship.
Number 5, Ronda Rousey. Where the hell is she? I still don't know. She keeps posting on YouTube, and granted, I never watched the videos. Maybe she's been giving me the answer and I'm intentionally just focusing on the question, but look, unless you show up on TV or you do something that's going to prove it otherwise, I'm going to assume that all the stuff that came out about her starting a family was probably true. I mean, who is she making all these YouTube videos with? Her fucking husband. The longest reigning Raw Women's Champion is a title she really didn't need to have, and honestly, what does Ronda do if she does return now? Instead of her leaving for another company like all 9 other entries, I think Ronda leaves because she got her year in the ring, fulfilled her dreams, and did everything there is to do when you're already that big of a name. She had a big WrestleMania match, she held the belt, she has the longest reign, which is just dumb, and then she got to put over Becky on her way out. Like, that's a Goldberg perfect year, except it wasn't complete shit. Number 4, Eric Young. I originally had EY penciled in alongside his former Sanity members here, but thankfully, Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf seem to have found their ways back to NXT and NXT UK respectively. While I do think that group had loads of potential, WWE's already decided to rewrite that part of history, so I guess never mind. And hey, Nikki Cross could obviously be doing better, but she could obviously be doing worse. At least she's doing something. Eric Young, on the other hand, man, this guy hasn't done anything. I'm pretty sure he's one of the dudes who chased R-Truth like the first time he showed up with the 24/7 title, and that might be it. It's a real shame because he's proved in TNA and NXT that he's a really entertaining dude, especially as a character. You don't always have to be the best in-ring, technical, crisp god. Sometimes if you're just really good on a mic and can convince people of a character, that's enough. That's why I put Rude on the list. That's why I'm putting Eric Young on the list. Get yourself the hell out of there, man.
That is one of the hottest free agents in sports entertainment. Eric Young is here on NXT.
Number 3, Rusev and Lana. Sure. The original meta Twitter user of the modern era, Rusev has been pretty vocal about all sorts of shit since his booking fell apart in the latter half of 2015. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. He showed up to WrestleMania on a tank, and 6 months later he's a League of Nations member. That should have been the nail in the coffin. Yet, it's 2019, and in this year alone, WWE has squandered 2 potentially great Rusev moments with Aiden English and Shinsuke Nakamura respectively. While English has found himself a nice seat on Cruiser commentary, and Nakamura is treating WWE like extended vacation, Rusev is the kind of dude who wants to get out there and, I don't know, do shit. Please do not re-sign your big, beautiful Bulgarian Bulgarian name on the dotted line, Mr. Ru. Or would it be Mr. Sev?
Rusev's already in there.
Finding out.
Both Rusev and English in the casket. The lid. Slam shot. Good night.
Number 2, Drew McIntyre. Bold to pick a guy who's so high up in the company right now, but think about it. Is he really involved in something big right now, or is he just Shane McMahon's lackey until we're done with him? Because I think I know the WWE. I think I know him pretty well, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this one. Look, a few things went into this one, and I think I have pretty solid reasoning why he's ranking so high. First off, he showed up to NXT around April 2017, and NXT contracts tend to clock in around 3 years. So that timer's right there, the time to start eyeing other, potential homes. That clock's ticking. Secondly, potential has been made very clear throughout this video, and Drew, to me, he's pretty much Cesaro levels of potential. But something about Drew tells me he's not going to be as cool with the bad booking, especially since, both dudes were misused by WWE for years, and one of them actually acted on it. Drew dipped out, got in super good shape, tore it up on the indies, tore it up on Impact, tore up fucking What Culture's wrestling promotion before making the Heroes return to NXT and then getting called up to the main roster alongside Dolph Ziggler, and I'm already bored.
I guess we call that the well-executed plan of Shane McMahon.
Drew McIntyre connects with what he calls the boomstick, hits that claymore, and it's lights out.
And number 1, Daniel Bryan. Seriously, just try putting yourself in D. Bry's shoes. First off, you have to be in love with professional wrestling, okay? You can tell a guy like Cesaro or Drew McIntyre or Seth Rollins loves pro wrestling. Daniel Bryan is sickly addicted to it. This is his everything. I am guaranteed it holds a higher place in his life than his family, and I'm not saying anything against that. It needs to be made clear. Also, his family's probably a little bit higher, but you get the point. Now, just imagine you've been forced out of in-ring action and you have to spend 2 years, 2 full fucking years on the sidelines despite every single doctor not named WWE's telling you you can wrestle again.
For a long time, I fought that because I have loved this in a way that I have never loved anything else.
Then, finally, they let you back into the ring, and yeah, they do pretty good with you for a while. A really, really good heel turn followed by an even better heel run that led to Kofi Kingston's crowning achievement. All very nice, but look what happened when they ran out of ideas. The dude's a champion right now, and I bet a quarter of you at least either forgot or had forgotten if they didn't just reappear after a month of not being on TV. Those being Daniel Bryan and Rowan, for those of you who didn't even know that they were SmackDown's tag team champions, since, yeah, they're never on TV. Daniel Bryan's already feeling like just another spoke on the wheel that CM Punk talked about in 2011. Imagine going through all of what I just said while seeing what's happening outside of WWE's walls this year. I genuinely refuse to believe that Daniel Bryan has not been eyeing AEW ever since Moxley's Talk Is Jericho podcast. Look, I know he's loyal. I know that he re-signed a contract despite being told he wasn't gonna wrestle, but he's also a fantastic, supportive person who wouldn't just want to embrace a respark to his favorite thing ever, but he'd also probably rather support the company who's supporting its employees. Call me bold, but this one feels inevitable.
That's right. There are no Yes Movement t-shirts because the Yes Movement is dead. I killed it.
And those are 10 wrestlers who are leaving WWE soon, maybe, probably, hopefully. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below. Have to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and notifications-ing that bell.